she actually did the title artwork for our film. And I shared that post immediately with Kelly, and I was like, this is really cool. And she was like, I just heard about another mural that was just painted in Austin, and I was going to tell you about it. And so we were both kind of finding the project on our own and excited to tell each other about it. We're like, we should reach out to them and see if we can make like a little documentary for them or something. At the time, we weren't even thinking of coming here yet. It was just like an idea. And we reached out. I think Kelly reached out to you guys first, and just started chatting. And Kelly and I are both very motivated to do what we can with our art and our capabilities to further this cause, and getting it to tell a story that was kind of already in motion was just a really exciting opportunity. So before we knew it, I think within a few months after reaching out to you, we were here, and we filmed most of the interviews in this within about a 30-hour period. And then when we were editing it, we didn't have nearly as much B-roll as we had wanted, so we were able to welcome submissions from the artists themselves. There's a lot of cell phone footage in there. There's a lot of footage that was submitted by Priority Bicycles here in town. They've supported You Are Not Alone murals for quite a while, and they have an in-house video team, so they submitted some of their footage. And this film kind of took on a little bit of a collaborative nature, which I think fits the project really well.
And where do you live? Remind us where you came from.
I now live in northern Minnesota, Duluth, Minnesota. When we filmed this, I was living in Austin, Texas with Kelly Shaver. She and I started Folktale Creative together, and my wife and I moved up north, and she's still in Austin, so I go back and forth quite a bit. But as a freelance camera operator, I go wherever the work is. So.
But you found this work. That's what I love about it so much. Is you and Kelly were inspired by what you saw and said we have to make a film about this, and then you came to New York and made it happen, which is I just think so great. And
Kelly did live in New York for I think close to 10 years. So to her it was a lot more doable than to me because I had never lived here before.
Yeah.
So.
Annika and Sam, could you talk a little bit about why you think it's resonated so much with people, with artists? We heard a little bit from some of the artists about why they were so eager to be involved, but also why with people in the comments, reading the comments and seeing what do you think it is?
I feel like you actually summed it up best when you said 1 in 5 people is struggling and the other 4 are supportive. Sorry, I'm gonna cry every answer. I feel like that's why it touches everyone.
May I ask you, and you don't have to if you don't want to, it makes you so emotional? What is it?
Oh, we're having therapy now.
No, not at all. And I said only if you want. You don't have to share.
Honestly, ever since I had my kid 3.5 years ago, literally everything. I was just talking with Kate about this, and obviously anything related to kids makes me cry, and then everyone is someone's kid. So let's go ahead and put that into. I don't know. It's hard to think about people struggling. It just makes me emotional.
Yeah, and we saw in the film, what you expressed to Sam about knowing her during the time when she was living through some of these really difficult times and not knowing, not having an idea. I think that really speaks to the challenge that so many people who are struggling with mental health issues face, and how often we feel like we're the only one going through it, or we are alone. Can you talk a little bit about sort of that journey for you and what it's like to hear from such a good friend? I wish I knew, or I could have. Is there something I could have done? Like, just sort of like talk a little bit about that.
That's a lot of questions.
I know.
I think that writing my memoir and sharing my experiences with anxiety was taking a step first, and hopefully sharing with people to say, this is what I went through, or maybe I'm a stand-in for someone else who is dealing with a similar mental health challenge. And my hope is that by going first and stepping first, that'll give someone else the courage to also be more open or seek help, and hopefully maybe share more fully with the people that are you know, alongside them, you know, maybe give them the strength or the courage to ask for help in, you know, maybe a different way. And then on the flip side, you know, allow that person who's witnessing to ask different questions or notice different behaviors. And I, you know, frequently will hear from people and say, like, it'll be a teenager saying, like, my parents have no clue what I'm going through, they don't understand it, they don't think it's a big deal. And I read your book and it meant so much to me. I'm like, well, you need to give the book to your parents. Like, what I went through is not what you went through, but it's close enough. So I think it just allows for a lot of insight on both ends. We were talking about like cycles and like how it keeps coming full circle. You know, sharing as a way to help someone else, but as a way to help yourself and to feel seen.
Yeah.
Did I answer any of your questions?
All of them.
Okay.
It can be cathartic, right? We feel
Yeah.
like we're the only one going through it. We put it out there, and I think very often we find other people saying, "Oh, me too, me too." You talked about that as well. I think one of the things we talk a lot about here at NAMI NYC is the idea of reducing stigma so that people don't feel that they need to keep what they're going through a secret, and that it's okay not to be okay. And I think it's important for us to recognize that it can't just be on you to figure out how to come forward and talk about it, but it's on all of us. We call this sort of culture of inquiry, where if you see someone who's struggling, ask them, are you okay? Or is there something you need? I'm worried about you. So that we're meeting people where they are and not putting all the onus on the person. And I think this project really helps to normalize those conversations. Are you hearing more from people like every day on the comments on Instagram? More and more people with whom this resonates?
Yeah, I mean, I just checked my email while I was sitting here, and it was an email from someone saying, you know, I struggle. It was 2 sentences. It was just, this means something to me. I struggle with my mental health. How can I am your own? So I think, you know, the simplicity of the message. I think it's simple. You get it. It's very clear. It's very like it travels well. You are not alone as a message travels well.
How are you doing today, Sam?
I'm feeling pretty good. I've been on medication for anxiety pretty much consistently since I was 17 years old, and that's okay. You know, sometimes I think that'd be nice if I weren't, but you know, I feel good. The goal is to feel good, and anytime I think like, oh, maybe I should think about going off, like it's been many years, things are stable and safe, then something really big happens, like a new job or a move or a baby, and it's like, we're not going to go off medication now. And I just, you know, I honestly don't think about it. It just is part of what I do. And, you know, if I had some other, you know, chronic condition, I would not, you know, I wouldn't think, oh, when do I get to go off of this? So I, you know, still go to therapy. I still, you know, do what I can to take care of myself. But you know, I've been in therapy on and off for so long that like I have a robust toolbox, you know, that I occasionally remember to use, filled with tools, and you know, I kind of know what my triggers are, and I know what to do when I'm having a tough time. And you know, thankfully, I don't have multiple panic attacks a day. I you know, it's very rare. I can go months, many months without having a panic attack. So I feel pretty good. Yeah. Thanks.
I'm good. What do you think? How has this impacted your friendship and relationship with Sam? Working on this together.
I think when we first got started on it, it didn't feel real. Like it was just sort of small scale, and as it gets bigger and bigger, I mean, I think that it's been all the strengths that we have, we've been able to play into really well with each other, and I think we're both acutely aware of also where we're not as strong, and we check in with each other, you know, and so I think it's, I think we both were concerned that we didn't want to do anything that would ever challenge our friendship to the point of like no return, but it has, for me, gone really smoothly. So, you know, it's still but it's still on a certain level scary to be in business, which you're best at.
A lot of communication. Yeah. Jeremy, can you talk a little bit about the outcomes that you've seen as it relates to public response and individuals or groups? And yeah, that's one question or two questions in one. Not that.
Yeah, and we screened the film at I think about 30 festivals around the country and various screenings, and we've won a couple awards, and it's been more than like the critical recognition of awards. What's been most meaningful is hearing from random people that we have no connection to that just come up to us after the film screening and talk about how much it resonated with them. And like that's not really us or our film, I think it's the subject. Because the message, this film is like our mural in a sense, you know, like we don't paint when we film, and we wanted to try to tell their story and not make it about any message we were trying to get across. And so every time that someone would come up to talk to us, we would just try to point them again to the You're Not Alone Mural Project, and then we talk a lot about the different nominee chapters around the country as well, and then getting connected with your local community. And it's been an incredible experience, and we're still working with the organization. You know, we're very excited to continue filming with them, and we're working on a longer form project now. So it'll either be a feature film or a docu-series or something to that effect. And as it takes shape, we're just trying to film their story as it evolves. They're shooting for a goal of 100 murals painted around the world, and we're excited to be filming that journey.
How far along are we?
We're about low 70s right now.
That's
And if things happen the way we think they will, we'll finish the year probably close to 80. So yeah, definitely next year we'll hit the goal. But yeah, the murals have been all over the world. And I haven't checked the math perfectly, but like I did a rough count, 30-ish% of the murals are 30 to 40% ones we had nothing to do with other than being inspiration. So that means someone saw the project, got their acts together, found somewhere to paint it, got the paint, went out and painted it. And those, you know, all the murals are important and exciting and rewarding and powerful, but the ones where we had nothing to do with them, like hands-on, are especially exciting, because I can't understand this part, but like people don't give you advance warning. No one needs to tell us, no, we don't approve anything, you go and you just black, white, yellow, and gray, you are not alone, go. But I can't understand that no one is like, hey, I'm super psyched, I'm gonna make a mural. And then we just get photos and of unbelievably complicated, stunning, humongous murals, and it's incredible.
The stairs, right?
The stairs.
Do you remember that shot? The staircase?
It was in Colorado in some kind of like outdoor mall, and it was really like a 3-level or more staircase.
There it is. 4.
Wow. And this woman, presumably with the team, I don't know, did it, sent pictures. We tried to follow up saying, do you want to send an artist statement? Like, that's really important for us to include, like, why someone wanted to, nothing. Crickets.
Really?
Fascinating.
We only have like one low-res photo of that, and every year I'm like, when are we gonna? So every year we try reaching out. We're like, hello, we are updating our website. Is there any chance you have? No, I really don't have any other photos. Like, so they did it, and not even for the point of documenting it to share. They just wanted it there in their community for however long it lasted, and now it's gone.
That's the one that will always get me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you were going to Colorado. Find that person.
Yeah.
I like Colorado.
Actually, I like Colorado too. We're going to Colorado. So why don't we open it up and see if anybody in the audience has any questions? Yeah.